Dear friends, English literature, romantic poetry, selected poems of John Keats. On first, looking into Chapman's humor. Short questions with answers. Short questions 1 to 3. Question 1. What do you know about Keats' reading of the writings of the Western authors? Answer. At the beginning of the sonnet, on first looking into Chapman's humor, Keats describes his reading of many ballads and romances of the poets of the Western Europe. He was very fond of reading. He read a number of books of adventurous and romantic tales. His reading was like traveling in different countries and kingdoms. Like travelers, he has visited or gone through the golden domain of the poetry of great poets like Spenser, Shakespeare, and Milton. He has also explored the world of romances from which he has derived immense pleasure. In his imagination, he has gone through the world of the romances which narrate the tales of myth related to the people of the adjoining islands on the western coast of England. Keats has also read romantic poems dealing with the mystical life in the western islands. He has read much poetry of Western poets who have composed their poems being inspired by Apollo, the god of poetry. Question 2. How did Keats become able to read Homer's poetry? Answer. Keats was very fond of reading. He read a number of books of adventurous and romantic tales of the olden times. His reading was like traveling in different countries and kingdoms. In course of his reading, he had often heard of Homer's epics, the Iliad and Odyssey. These two epics are written in Greek language, but Keats did not know Greek as he was ignorant of the Greek language. He was unable to read these two great epics because of his ignorance of Greek. It was impossible for him to travel the vast territory of Homer. However, he gets the opportunity of reading Homer and he comes upon Chapman's translation of Homer by his friend Cowden Clarke. Chapman published his translation of Homer into English in 1596. Keats first read his translation in 1815 when his friend put it before him. Keats' reading of Chapman's translation arouses in him a passion in full intensity. Through this reading, he becomes able to breathe the pure, clear air of the kingdom of Homer. Question 3. Describe the pleasure of Keats on reading Homer's poetry. Answer. Keats experiences new sensations by reading Chapman's translation of Homer into English. He fulfills his thirst for poetic beauty by going through it. Keats was introduced in the domain of Homer through Chapman. He got immense pleasure by reading Homer's poetry translated in English by Chapman. He compares his feelings on reading Chapman's translation to those of an astronomer when the astronomer discovers a new planet. When an astronomer sees a new planet through his telescope, he becomes extremely excited for his new discovery. At the time, his joy knows no bounds. Again, Keats compares his feelings on reading Homer's poetry to those of the Spanish explorer Cortes, who discovered the Pacific Ocean. Cortes and his followers crossed the Isthmus of Darien and saw the Pacific Ocean from the American coast. They were filled with great wonder and could not express their feelings when they saw the Pacific Ocean. They silently looked to each other with amazement when they were on a summit of the Isthmus of Darien. Here, Keats confounds cottage with Balboa. Thank you, friends, for watching my video.